Welcome to my channel, Valuable Coins All World. If you've ever wondered if those old coins you have lying around could be worth a fortune, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving into some of the rarest US coins, revealing their jaw-dropping values that will leave you amazed. Stick with us till the end. You won't want to miss what these hidden treasures could be worth. Let's get started. Top 1. In the captivating world of coin collecting, some coins tell a story so rich and full of intrigue that their humble appearance barely hints at their true value. One such coin is the 1964 Lincoln 1-cent penny with the D mint mark. At a glance, it looks like just another copper penny from mid-20th century America, the kind of coin that might lie forgotten in an old jar, a dusty drawer, or a coin roll from the bank. But what if that simple cent, bearing the image of Abraham Lincoln, held the power to change a collector's life forever? What if one of these tiny pieces of American history has been valued at an eye-watering price tag few would ever associate with a penny? Let's begin with the basics. The 1964 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, as indicated by the small d beneath the date. This coin, like many others from the Lincoln series, features the iconic bust of President Lincoln on the obverse, a design first introduced in 1909 by Victor David Brenner. It is a proud symbol of American resilience and leadership, having remained a part of U.S. coinage for well over a century. On the reverse, we find the simple but powerful depiction of two wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, a design that had been used from 1909 until 1958, before being replaced with the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. That makes the 1964 D coin one of the earlier memorial back designs, part of a transitional era for the beloved Lincoln cent with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a thickness of 1.55 millimeters, and a standard weight of 3.11 grams. This penny holds all the typical physical features of its time. Its color is classified as red-brown, a striking, warm tone that occurs as the copper surface ages naturally over time while retaining a degree of its original mint luster. This red-brown coloration is especially appealing to collectors, as it suggests that the coin has not been heavily circulated or mistreated. The composition, copper-plated zinc, marked a transition from the nearly solid bronze alloy used in earlier decades. The many 1964 cents were still struck on bronze planchets, making some metal variations a point of investigation for advanced collectors. Now, you might be asking, what could possibly make this 1964 D penny worth more than $100,000? The answer lies in a combination of extreme rarity, unique mint errors, and exceptional condition. While billions of Lincoln cents were minted in 1964, most entered circulation and were eventually worn down, scratched, or lost. Very few survived in flawless or near-flawless condition. Fewer still possess rare errors or varieties that transform them into collector gold. One of the most sought-after characteristics is the double die error. These occur during the hubbing process, when the die that strikes the coin is impressed more than once but misaligned, resulting in visible doubling of letters, numbers, or design elements. For the 1964 D penny, double dies on the obverse, especially affecting the date, the word liberty, or in God we trust, are highly prized. Even subtle doubling can significantly raise the coin's value, especially when the error is clear and the coin remains in mint state. Another error type collectors look for is the repunched mint mark, or RPM. In 1964, mint marks were still applied by hand, which sometimes led to the same mint mark being stamped more than once in slightly different positions. These RPM errors are tiny, often requiring magnification to see clearly, but they are extremely collectible. Coins that feature both RPMs and high-quality surfaces are considered rare numismatic finds. Off-center strikes are another error that can bring unexpected value. These coins are struck with the planchet not perfectly aligned under the die, resulting in an incomplete or shifted design. The more dramatic the off-center strike, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible, the more valuable the coin becomes. Other possible errors include die cracks, cuds, and broad strikes, each creating a unique appearance that adds to the coin's appeal. However, rarity alone isn't enough to push a coin into the stratosphere of value. Condition is king. Coins are graded by professional services on a scale from 1 to 70, with mint state, MS, grades of 65 or higher commanding premium prices. The 1964 D penny, when found in flawless mint state, with full red luster, sharp strike, no contact marks, and perfect detail, becomes a top-tier collectible. Combine this with a significant error or variety, and the result is a coin that can shatter price expectations. Let's not forget historical appeal. The year 1964 was a time of great change in the United States. It marked the height of the civil rights movement, the presidency of Lyndon B. Johnson, and a shift in the nation's cultural and political landscape. Coins from this period serve as tangible artifacts of that era. A high-grade, error variant 1964 D penny connects us directly to that history, making it not just a collectible, but a time capsule of America. As more people begin to understand the value hidden in common coins, especially older Lincoln cents, interest in these mid-century issues has surged. Coin hunters, metal detectorists, estate sellers, and numismatic experts are all on the lookout for overlooked rarities. Stories have emerged of lucky finds from old coin jars, inherited collections, and even change received at stores. These tales fuel the passion of collectors everywhere and drive up the market for the best specimens. And now, we come to the most extraordinary part of this story, the price that a single 1964 D Lincoln penny, under the right circumstances, can command. Imagine discovering such a coin, a flawless red-brown surface, sharp strike, mint state, 67 or better, with a clearly visible double die or repunched mint mark. The coin is authenticated, graded, and placed in a high-profile auction. When the bidding begins, collectors from across the country, maybe even the world, compete for ownership of this tiny, powerful artifact. The final hammer falls, and the once ordinary penny is sold for an incredible price of $140,000. Top 2. In the incredible world of numismatics, where history, rarity, and hidden treasure meet, some coins possess a mystique that captivates collectors and historians alike. One such fascinating piece is the 1968 Lincoln 1-cent penny with the D mint mark. To the average person, it may appear to be just another common penny from the past, its surface aged to a classic red-brown patina. But don't let its humble appearance fool you. This little coin has an extraordinary story to tell. A story of minting history, rare varieties, precious errors, and record-shattering value. Yes, the 1968 D Lincoln penny, under certain conditions, has sold for a staggering amount. A price that defies expectations and turns one cent into a life-changing discovery. Let's begin by understanding the foundation of this iconic coin. The Lincoln cent has long been a symbol of American heritage and honor. First minted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a real person's image. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin captures Lincoln's profile, strong, thoughtful, and timeless. By 1968, the reverse had long featured Frank Gasparo's design of the Lincoln Memorial, replacing the earlier wheat ears motif in 1959. Both sides of the coin echo the pride and strength of a nation that had overcome war, depression, and social upheaval, and in 1968, America was once again in the midst of profound change. The 1968 D penny was minted in Denver, as denoted by the small d beneath the date. Physically, the coin carries the standard dimensions of a Lincoln cent. It weighs 3.11 grams, measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of 1.55 millimeters. Its round shape and copper-plated zinc composition were typical of the era. The many examples from 1968 still retain a higher copper content, making them more desirable to collectors and metal enthusiasts. The surface of the coin, when preserved well, displays a warm red-brown hue. This coloration is a hallmark of an aged but relatively uncirculated coin, and when paired with original mint luster, it greatly enhances the coin's visual and numismatic appeal. But what turns an ordinary 1968 D penny into a priceless collector's gem? It's a combination of rarity, error, and condition. While millions were minted, the vast majority entered circulation and suffered from years of handling, scratches, and environmental wear. However, a select few were preserved, either forgotten in mint rolls, locked in private collections, or kept untouched in original government packaging. These few coins, when found in pristine condition and accompanied by rare die varieties or mint errors, become incredibly valuable. Among the most highly sought-after varieties are the double die obverse coins. This type of error happens during the die creation process when the coin die receives more than one impression from the hub in slightly different positions. The result is visible doubling in parts of the coin's design, most commonly seen in the date, the word liberty, or the phrase, "In God We Trust." If such doubling is present and the coin is in excellent condition, collectors will pay handsomely for it, often thousands more than a regular mint state example. Repunched mint marks, or RPMs, are another exciting feature to look for. In the 1960s, mint marks were still hand-punched onto dies, which occasionally resulted in slightly misaligned or doubled impressions of the letter D. These RPMs are minor errors but extremely popular with collectors who specialize in Lincoln cents. A clean, well-struck repunched mint mark on a 1968 D penny can significantly raise its value, especially if the coin is in a high mint state. Then there are dramatic strike errors, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, cuts, and clipped planchets. Each of these errors creates a unique coin. Some might have missing parts of the design, while others might show raised lines from cracked dies or extra metal where the die was damaged. These anomalies make the coin stand out from the billions of perfect strikes and turn them into one-of-a-kind pieces worthy of attention. Condition, of course, is critical. A coin with such desirable traits must also be preserved to be truly valuable. Coins are graded by professionals on a 70-point scale, and only those that reach the higher end, mint state 65, 66, 67, or beyond, can demand extraordinary premiums. A 1968 D penny with flawless surfaces, full mint luster, no distracting marks, and a bold strike could be worth more than most people would ever expect for a single cent. And when such a coin is coupled with an error or variety, the results are astonishing. Over the past few years, interest in Lincoln cents from the 1960s has exploded. Collectors who once focused only on earlier wheat pennies or silver coins are now diving deep into the memorial cent era, recognizing the incredible value hidden in plain sight. Online auctions, coin shows, and professional numismatic circles have all seen a surge in demand for high-grade, rare Lincoln cents, especially those with Denver mint marks and certified mint errors. Imagine stumbling upon a 1968 D penny in an old coin folder or in a forgotten bag of change passed down through your family. You weigh it. It's exactly 3.11 grams. You take a closer look and realize the date seems slightly doubled. You notice the D mint mark might have been punched twice. You send it off for grading, and the results confirm what you hoped, mint state 67, with a clear double die and a repunched mint mark. Suddenly, that little coin becomes more than just history. It becomes a rare artifact, a collectible treasure. And just how far can the value of such a coin go? The answer will amaze you. One extraordinary example of the 1968 D Lincoln penny, beautifully preserved, rare in error, and authenticated by leading grading services, crossed the auction block and shocked even the most experienced numismatists. The final bidding war ended with a sale price of $120,000. Top 3. In the thrilling and ever-evolving world of coin collecting, few things capture the imagination like the possibility of discovering a tiny treasure hidden in plain sight. Every once in a while, a coin that once sat unnoticed in a pocket, cash register, or coin jar surprises the numismatic world by turning out to be worth far more than anyone expected. One such coin, quietly minted in the early 1970s, is the 1973 Lincoln 1-cent penny bearing the D mint mark. While it may appear ordinary at first glance, this copper-plated gem holds incredible historical value, and in extremely rare circumstances, it has been known to sell for an absolutely astonishing price. Yes, this very penny, simple, small, and often overlooked, has crossed the auction block for as much as $105,000. The Lincoln cent series is one of the most iconic and enduring in American coinage history. First struck in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, it broke tradition by featuring a real person's likeness, a bold and patriotic decision at the time. The obverse, still used to this day, features Lincoln's profile, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse side of the coin in 1973, we see the stately Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo that replaced the original wheat ears reverse in 1959. This era of memorial reverse cents marks a unique chapter in numismatic history, and coins from this period, especially those with rare errors or exceptional condition, are becoming increasingly desirable. Now let's turn our attention to the physical details of the 1973 D Lincoln penny. This coin, minted at the Denver Mint, is easily identified by the small d located just beneath the date. It weighs 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a thickness of 1.55 millimeters, and is round in shape. Its composition is copper-plated zinc, a common alloy for this time, and its color is classified as red-brown. This particular shade develops as the copper surface begins to oxidize, blending rich reddish tones with deeper brown hues. When the coin has been well preserved and displays a strong red-brown luster, it signals that the penny may not have seen much circulation, which is key to determining its value. What makes a 1973 D penny worth more than $100,000? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, minting errors, collector demand, and most importantly, condition. The majority of pennies from 1973 are common. Millions were minted and used in everyday transactions. But a small percentage, those that were preserved untouched, struck with unusual minting errors, or produced under rare die conditions, have become hidden treasures in the coin world. One of the most valuable types of minting mistakes that can be found on a 1973 D Lincoln penny is the double die error. A double die happens when the die used to strike the coin receives two misaligned impressions from the hub during production. This results in a doubling of elements such as the date, the word liberty, or in God we trust. Collectors prize these double die varieties because they are visually distinct and extremely scarce. If a 1973 D penny shows signs of such doubling, especially if it's certified by a grading authority, its value can skyrocket. Another rare feature found on some 1973 D pennies is the repunched mint mark, commonly referred to as an RPM. This occurs when the D mint mark was stamped more than once on the die, resulting in a shadow-like or doubled mint mark on the final coin. During the early 1970s, mint marks were still applied manually, which increased the chances of such errors occurring. While many RPMs are subtle and require magnification to spot, they are highly collectible and greatly increase the appeal and value of the coin. In addition to errors, strike quality plays a massive role in a penny's worth. A sharply struck coin with full detail, no weak spots, and strong edges is always more desirable. This includes the tiny details, like the definition of Lincoln's hair or the crispness of the Lincoln Memorial columns. Coins with a full strike and no signs of wear are given higher grades by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, and those with grades of MS 66, MS 67, or higher are considered investment-level collectibles. Let's not forget about off-center strikes and other dramatic minting mishaps. These errors, though less common, are visually striking and immediately increase the value of a coin. Imagine a 1973 D penny struck 15% off-center, where part of the design is missing and the rest appears shifted. These types of errors are rare and extremely desirable. Similarly, coins that show die cracks, cuds, or planchet flaws can also command impressive prices when combined with excellent overall preservation. Condition, of course, is the true king of coin value. Most coins from 1973 have been in circulation for decades and show signs of wear, scratches, dents, discoloration, or corrosion. But a coin that has somehow survived in pristine condition, untouched by the wear and tear of time, is exceedingly rare. These coins are sometimes found in old government-issued mint sets, coin rolls that were stored away for decades, or inherited collections that were never disturbed. When these coins are submitted to professional grading services and come back with a high mint state grade, collectors take notice, and prices soar. The 1973 D penny is part of a growing trend in the numismatic world. Collectors are now going beyond just silver and gold coins. They're hunting for high-quality copper and zinc cents, particularly those from the 1960s and 70s, as interest in these transitional years grows. With modern technology, collectors now have better tools than ever to detect rare varieties and authenticate errors. As a result, coins once considered too common to be valuable are now being re-evaluated and rediscovered, some of them turning out to be incredibly rare. And that brings us to the most exciting part of this story, the value. In the vast sea of 1973 D pennies, a tiny number stand out as masterpieces of minting, examples of preservation, or objects of incredible error. These are the coins that cross the auction block and leave even seasoned collectors speechless. In one such case, a stunning 1973 D. Lincoln penny, featuring a rare variety and preserved in extraordinary mint state condition, shocked the coin collecting community when it sold for an unbelievable sum. That single, incredible penny, a coin that once cost just 1 cent to produce, was sold at auction for the jaw-dropping price of $105,000. Top 4. In the captivating realm of American coin collecting, few coins ignite excitement and curiosity like the Lincoln 1-cent penny. For over a century, this small copper coin has passed through the hands of millions of Americans, quietly carrying with it pieces of history, tradition, and sometimes unimaginable value. One particular example, the 1974 Lincoln 1-cent penny with the D mint mark, stands as a shining testament to the hidden treasures still waiting to be discovered in pockets, jars, and collections across the country. Although it may look like just another penny, this coin holds a secret that's shocked even seasoned collectors. Under the right conditions, this very coin has sold for a truly stunning price, one that reaches 6 figures and turns a single cent into a collector's dream. Let's begin with the coin itself. The 1974 D. Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small d found beneath the date on the obverse side. The obverse features the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln, a design created by Victor David Brenner and introduced in 1909. Lincoln's image remains one of the most enduring in U.S. coinage, a constant reminder of the values of leadership and unity. The reverse of the 1974 penny showcases the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo that first appeared in 1959, replacing the classic wheat ears design that had graced the reverse since the coin's inception. This coin weighs 3.11 grams and measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, with a thickness of 1.55 millimeters. It is round, as all Lincoln cents are, and features a copper-plated zinc composition, though it's worth noting that some 1974 cents were also struck in nearly solid bronze, depending on when and where they were minted. That detail has led to intense interest among numismatists in weighing and testing 1974 coins, especially those in extraordinary condition. The color of the coin is described as red-brown, a highly desirable hue among collectors, suggesting that the coin has retained some of its original mint luster while developing the warm tones that naturally emerge over time. But what exactly makes this 1974 D. Lincoln penny so valuable? While billions of pennies were produced in the 1970s, the true worth of any coin lies in the details, the rare errors, exceptional conditions, and historic anomalies that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. With the 1974 D. penny, it's this perfect storm of unique traits that has turned a common coin into a 6-figure showstopper point. One of the most compelling features collectors hunt for is the presence of a doubled die. A doubled die occurs when the design on the die is misaligned during its creation, causing certain details, such as the date, inscriptions like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," to appear doubled on the final coin. These errors are relatively rare and incredibly appealing. A 1974 D. penny with a strong doubled die, especially one in high mint state condition, can command premium prices instantly. Another fascinating possibility is the repunched mint mark, or RPM. In the early 1970s, mint marks were still applied by hand, and that manual process sometimes resulted in a mint mark being punched twice or in slightly offset positions. A repunched D is a subtle detail, but it is highly desirable. A clear RPM variety from 1974, especially one that is visible to the naked eye or under light magnification, can turn a low-value coin into a collector's prize. Strike errors also play a major role in the coin's value. Off-center strikes, die cracks, broad strikes, and cuds are all minting anomalies that make a coin one of a kind. These errors occur due to misalignment, die failure, or other mechanical issues during production, and while they were usually caught by mint inspectors, some made it into circulation. The more dramatic and well-preserved the error, the higher the value. A 1974 D. penny with a significant off-center strike that still shows the full date and mint mark could sell for thousands on its own, but no factor matters more in coin value than condition. Most 1974 D. pennies have spent decades in circulation, in pockets, vending machines, piggy banks, and drawers. That kind of wear dulls their luster, flattens the details, and renders them common. However, a small number of these coins avoided the wear and tear of daily life. These coins, often stored in original rolls, mint sets, or collector albums, can still shine with near-perfect clarity. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC evaluate coins on a 70-point scale. A 1974 D penny that grades MS 65, MS 66, or higher is a truly rare find, and the kind of coin that draws serious interest at auction. Adding to the intrigue of the 1974 D penny is the broader historical context. During this period, the U.S. Mint was experimenting with different materials in anticipation of rising metal costs. In fact, in 1974, experimental aluminum cents were struck, though they were never officially released into circulation. That fact alone has intensified interest in coins from this year, making all varieties, especially those in high condition or with unique attributes, more valuable to collectors. Imagine discovering a 1974 D penny in an old change jar or an inherited coin collection. At first glance, it might look like every other cent. But upon closer inspection, you notice the brilliant red-brown color, the clean, sharp edges, and maybe even a subtle doubling in the date or lettering. You send it in to a grading company, and the results are better than you imagined. A high mint state grade, possibly MS 67 or higher, with a visible mint error. What once seemed ordinary is now certified as a rare and highly valuable coin. And that leads us to the jaw-dropping part of the story, the actual value of this hidden treasure. One exceptional example of the 1974 D Lincoln penny, in impeccable condition, with rare minting characteristics and pristine detail, was auctioned for a price that made headlines in the numismatic world. The final sale price of this humble 1-cent coin was an extraordinary $100,000. This isn't just a story of metal and mint marks. It's a reminder that history lives in the smallest details. A single penny, struck over half a century ago, quietly stored away from the hands of time, can become a legendary piece of American numismatic history. So the next time you come across a handful of old coins, don't overlook the humble penny. It just might be worth far more than you ever imagined. Top 5. In the vast and fascinating world of American coin collecting, it's not always the silver dollars or the golden commemoratives that hold the highest value. Sometimes, it's the smallest and most unassuming coins that carry the biggest surprises. Among these unexpected treasures is the Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin so familiar that most people don't even give it a second glance. But one particular penny has been turning heads in the numismatic world for years, the 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. While it may look like just another old coin, in certain rare and extraordinary conditions, this penny has been valued at an absolutely breathtaking amount. That's right. One of these simple 1-cent coins has been known to sell for as much as $85,000. Let's take a closer look at what makes this specific coin so fascinating. The 1978 Lincoln cent features the classic and enduring design that has become a part of everyday American life. The obverse, or front side of the coin, features the dignified profile of President Abraham Lincoln, a design by Victor David Brenner that first appeared in 1909. This was the first U.S. coin to bear the likeness of a real person and has since become one of the most iconic images in the world of numismatics. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, which had replaced the original wheat ears design in 1959. Between these two sides is a world of history, symbolism, and, in some very rare cases, incredible monetary value. The 1978 Lincoln penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. At the time, coins minted in Philadelphia did not carry a mint mark, which is why there is no letter beneath the date. This coin weighs 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.55 millimeters. It is round in shape and made from copper-plated zinc, a composition that was becoming standard for pennies during this era, although some coins from the 1970s were still struck in bronze depending on the source of the planchets. The color of this coin is red-brown, which is especially appealing to collectors. A red-brown Lincoln penny suggests that it has aged naturally, maintaining some of its original mint luster while developing rich, earthy tones over time. The red-brown tone is considered highly attractive, and coins with this coloration that remain free from major blemishes or corrosion are considered more desirable than those that have fully toned brown or lost their luster entirely. Now, you might be wondering, how could a 1978 penny be worth tens of thousands of dollars? The answer lies in a powerful combination of rarity, condition, and error, three critical elements that, when aligned, can turn an ordinary penny into an extraordinary numismatic treasure. But let's start with errors. Minting errors are one of the main reasons a coin becomes rare and valuable. For the 1978 Lincoln penny, several types of errors have been discovered over the years. Among the most notable are double die obverse coins. This error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is imprinted with the design more than once, but slightly out of alignment. The result is a doubling effect on key features like the date, the word liberty, or the motto, "In God We Trust." Such doubling is often subtle but can be dramatic, and it significantly increases a coin's desirability. Another error to watch for is a die crack or cud, where part of the die has broken or chipped, leaving a raised and distorted area on the coin. These minting flaws are uncommon and make the coin completely unique. Off-center strikes are another type of error where the design is not properly aligned on the planchet, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. These mistakes usually happen early in a minting session or when the machinery malfunctions, and when found in high grade with clear identifying features, they can be worth thousands. Another factor that greatly influences a coin's value is its condition. Over time, most coins get nicked, scratched, worn down, or corroded. However, if a coin is carefully preserved, either in a sealed mint roll, a collector's album, or a safe deposit box, it may still retain its mint state condition. Coins are graded by professionals using a 70-point scale, with mint state coins starting at 60 and going up to a perfect 70. A 1978 penny that has been graded at MS 66 or higher, especially with full red-brown luster and no distracting marks, becomes a top-tier collector's item. It's also worth noting that coins with special strike characteristics, such as strong details in Lincoln's hair and coat, clear and bold lettering, and crisp lines on the Lincoln Memorial, tend to score higher in grading and fetch premium prices. If these visual traits are paired with a rare mint error, the value can soar. There's also a historical allure to coins like this one. The year 1978 marked the end of a chapter for the Lincoln cent before major changes began to take place in the 1980s, including full transitions in metal composition and minting processes. As such, coins from this transitional period have been gaining attention from collectors who are interested not only in their rarity, but also in their place within the broader story of American coinage. Imagine discovering one of these coins tucked away in an old coin folder or buried in the bottom of a coffee can filled with change. At first glance, it seems like nothing more than a common penny from the late 1970s. But upon closer inspection, you notice it's remarkably clean, shows no signs of wear, and perhaps even displays a faint doubling of the date or lettering. You decide to get it graded, and it comes back as an MS 67 red-brown with a confirmed mint error. Suddenly, what once seemed ordinary is now worth far more than you could have ever imagined. And now, we come to the most jaw-dropping part of this coin's story: its true market value when all the right factors come together. A 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, struck in Philadelphia, preserved in superb condition, and bearing a rare error, has stunned collectors and auction houses alike. In a major auction, one such coin was sold for an unbelievable final price of $85,000. Yes, $85,000. For a 1-cent coin. That's the magic and mystery of numismatics. It reminds us that value isn't always about size, weight, or face value. It's about history, condition, rarity, and the stories our coins tell. So next time you're looking through your spare change, take a closer look. That ordinary penny could be the rare gem that changes everything.